Good evening, everyone. Greenville City Council will come to order. Please call the roll.
White.
Here.
Brown. Ely.
Here.
Godwin.
Here.
Norris.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here. If I get everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Evening, everyone. Council members, you were emailed out the minutes. If there's no additions or corrections, they will stand approved as read. You were also emailed out the current financial report. We'll entertain a motion to approve or deny that.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to approve the current financial report. Any discussion on that? Call the roll.
White.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes. Okay, moving on. Approval of the agenda. There are no changes that needs to be made.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Call the roll.
White.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to the public hearing section. Anyone would like to come up and speak? Please head to the podium.
Okay, I just have a few concerns. First of all, I just want to make,
Can you pull that mic down? Yes. Yep.
Usually have a loud voice, but
Or get taller.
or get taller than yeah. Okay, first I want to say I'm going to miss April up there at the Welcome Center. That lady was so helpful in providing me information for my message board out there by the park. And when I saw online that she was leaving, I was very heartbroken over that. So I hope whoever takes her place, that she'll be able to train them or whatever. But April, if you hear this, just thank you for all the help that you've been providing for me. The other day, next thing, Omni stopped at my house the other day. They were trying to get me to sign up, and I had to smile because they're already raising prices. They told me as of April 1st, the prices were going up. So they got the cable in, and they got people signed up, and now they're raising the prices. The next thing on Facebook tonight, and this actually did cross my mind when we were doing that tornado thing the other night, where are the fallout shelters in this town? Because I have a brother that lives in a house trailer, and let me tell you, I was scared to death for him that night because he lives near Union City. And I was over in my neighbor's basement because they asked me to come over. And I said, call him, please call him, I need to know. And so they did, and he got in his little vehicle and rode to Greenville and just drove around. But is there fallout shelters in town? Schools used to have them. And on Facebook tonight, people were asking that question. And I got on there and I did say something about, yes, Gettysburg used to have those yellow and black signs. This is a fallout shelter. Is there any in town anymore? Where do they go if you don't have any place to go? Any suggestions? Anybody watching this so you can give us an idea?
You can come here to the city building and go to the fire department, and they'll let you in the basement.
So send people up to the fire department?
Yep.
Because they'll be able to get in.
Yep.
Okay, that's good to know. So anybody watching can go to the fire department. Or the police department too would probably get them over there, but
They would
they'll
make
be.
sure they're safe. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, so I could tell my brother he could come here and that would give me, okay, and the last thing I have, this has been a concern, I was hoping there'd be somebody here from the police department. About a year or so ago, I used to walk at 5 in the morning, and I would walk from my house over by the park all the way down Broadway and back. And I saw this more than once, and why I'm bringing this up again is I saw it again today, because I'm dog sitting for a family. And what I'd like to know, is it possible for the police department or somebody to post when bikes are stolen? Because I saw a shady character this morning with a little mountain bike, and he's walking it. And I have seen, actually, when I used to walk in the early mornings, I would see different characters riding a bike, pulling a bike. And I'm wondering how many of these bikes are being stolen. If somebody would post, like I can remember what this bike looked like that this guy had today. Could they put that somewhere, or where can I go without having to call the, I don't know, how can we address this? Because and now with bicycles being ridden more, with the weather turning nicer, could the police department say, hey, missed this bike, and this is what it looks like? When I saw that guy several years ago riding a bike, pulling a bike, because I don't own a cell phone, so I went home and I called the police, and they wanted to know where he went. And I told them where he went. I actually stood there on the street and watched him go into a driveway, and this was at 6 in the morning, so it was kind of dark. So why is a guy riding a bike, pulling a bike? Well, you think the worst, that it's been stolen. So I don't know what the solution is to that, but I think if you put it out there that, hey, a bike's been stolen from this area, this is what it looks like, maybe we could get some of those bikes back. I was told by somebody several years ago, there was actually a shop on Wayne Avenue that had a garage, and they were actually taking bikes back there and painting them. So I don't know what your solution is, or what you could, just tell me what I can do or how I should go about, because I want to play a part in people getting their bikes back. So that's all I have today.
I think there is a police blotter that anyone that has something stolen that is posted, is that daily, or maybe media can help that?
I've read that police blotter before, and I've never seen anything in there about bikes.
Okay.
But this was a nice-looking bike this morning.
Yep.
I tried to follow him.
Some little 10-year-old doesn't have a bike to ride now, and some adult.
They would have been at school. When I came down that street, they would have been in school, and this guy looked to be in his early 30s.
Yep. Okay.
So, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. President, if I can address one of her
Yes.
things. On the safety in the fire departments, if your brother's in Union City or lives around Union City, most fire departments, anytime that there's, and Chief Thompson can attest, if there's a tornado warning issued, the stations are all manned in the county. They just all come, and, especially the volunteers in the city of Greenville, means their station, so there's somebody there. So your brother could go to Union City, Ohio Fire Department instead of driving all the way to Greenville.
They were in Union City coming this way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's why he
That's
came
fine.
to Greenville. He thought he'd outride it. And so he just came and I said, what did you do? And he said, I just drove around town. He drove around town. But it's good to know that the fire
Yeah, so
department-
that's an option for the public.
Yes,
Yeah, very
very
good.
good. All right, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Public hearing. All right, moving on to administration reports. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I wanted to make mention of a couple of things. First of all, last Monday in a ceremony in Findlay, Ohio, City of Greenville, as well as the mayors of 4 other communities, Findlay, Sydney, Defiance, and Worcester, were all recognized as, we are actually 5 of the top 10 micropolitan communities in the United States, right here in Ohio, being acknowledged by Site Selection Magazine as for expanding new and existing facilities. There's a lot of economic development going on in Ohio, and we were honored to be named one of the top 10 micropolitan communities in the United States of the second year. Last year, we actually finished 5th. This year, we're 7th. But to have a recognition from Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Husted, we had a panel discussion, and it was quite enlightening. It's among the 5 mayors, and I was totally honored to be there on behalf of Greenville. Mike Bowers came as well, as the Door County Economic Development Director, and there was a good crowd there, and it was just an honor to be there. Second of all, we went to, Kim Auditor Davis and I went to the local government officials conference in Columbus last week, last Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, as sponsored by the Auditor of State, Keith Faber. And one of the programs that they had, I wanted to mention this to the public because I'm not sure if too many people know about this, but one of the speakers was Ohio Treasurer Robert Sprague, and the program he launched on January 11th it's called Ohio Homebuyer Plus. It's a savings plan for Ohioans who are trying to save money for a home. A family member, anyone in their family can contribute up to $5,000 annually. You need to open up an account for $100 in any of the participating banks in the state. And you can save up to $5,000 annually, up to a total of $100,000. And you can save that over a course of 5 years, at which point you need to use that money for a down payment on a home. The beauty part is, all the money that you contribute to your account and save, you can take a tax deduction for every dollar on your Ohio state income tax. So it's tax deductible in the state of Ohio, not on your federal taxes, but on your state taxes. So that's a program that I wanted to make sure everyone knows about. Young people, 18 or over,
Is that first-time home buyer or
Anybody.
anybody?
Yeah,
Okay.
but generally, I mean, it would be, it set it up that you must be an Ohio resident at least 18 years of age. The primary residence is located, of course, in the state of Ohio. And you can only use the account proceeds towards a down payment or closing costs of a home purchased in Ohio. And must be their primary residence. So it's not for investment properties or anything like that. But what an awesome program set up by the state treasurer for young people or anyone trying to get into a home. So I just wanted to make mention of that. You can learn more at ohiotreasurer.gov/homebuyerplus. It's an excellent program, and it just got kicked off again this past January. So with that, I pass.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor. Did they talk about what the criteria was for that metropolitan cities for the?
Yeah, it was projects like, one example was Jaffe Decorating, some expansion that they did. These are all projects that are done within the county or within the city, or, Mike Bowers through Dark County Economic Development had, I believe, 8 or 9 projects submitted. I don't have the list on me, but they're new or expanding facilities for manufacturing within their area.
And we were 7th in the
We were
state,
7th in the nation.
the nation.
Ohio has 5 of the top 10 micropolitan communities in the nation. Cities our size, not,
Right. Do you
like,
know
just
who's the best in-
Finley has been constantly leading the pack.
that's number 1 in Ohio?
Yeah, and in the nation.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
On the one on the where you could buy a house.
Yeah.
Where does that money go to? As far as whenever you contribute to,
It's in a savings account. It's in an account at any of the participating banks, and like I said, you can find out more at this website.
is there interest on that?
Oh, yeah, you're any
They
interested.
pay interest on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's generally, from what I understand, it's the bank pays so much interest, whatever their rate is, plus like 2.65%. I'm not sure of that number. It's in the website.
Okay.
But it's an additional amount of interest you can earn from participating in that program.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the mayor? All right, move on to Safety Service Director. Mr. Dahl.
Thank you, Mr. President. For this evening, first thing is code enforcement. So there is legislation here before you to establish wages for code enforcement position that we would like to get started in the city of Greenville. The position will be out of the Planning and Zoning Department. It'll be a part-time position, and then that whoever has that position will work with our assistant law director on taking items to court if needed, going out and addressing citizens, and, you know, we're always trying to get voluntary compliance is our number one first goal, but then we have steps in place to take it to the next step further, and we're really excited to try to get this position rolling and get things cleaned up here as we roll into spring and summer. Next is solar eclipse. It's almost here. Just 6 days away. So we've been meeting for about a year on a quarterly basis with a lot of really the entire Darke County area with Darke County EMA and the Sheriff's Department. So we have a plan in place. You know, downtown will be hosting a lot of events on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So we expect to have a lot of residents and their guests or people visiting our community in the downtown area enjoying all the festivities that will be taking place. And then we feel that Monday, most of the people will be more in the county to enjoy the eclipse. The mayor's predicted 68 and partly sunny. He's right there. I think it's right now 65 and a little bit of rain, but you know, we'll see. A little bit of rain. He said if he nails this, then call him when you want to get married and he'll predict the weather for you. So we have a traffic plan in place with the Sheriff's Department. We are closing the city building at 12:30 that day, and transit will not do any rides after 12:30 that day. They are closing as well. Police and fire will be, the plan right now is to do some upstaffing. Some of that is due to the school closing, and then we'll gain our SROs back for the day. The Sheriff's Department is really stocking up for the county. We met with them last Thursday to kind of finalize all our plans, so we are preparing for the worst and hoping for the best, is the way we're going about it. If things change, we can make adjustments on the fly, and I have all faith in our department heads and police chief, fire chief to make the right decisions. Next, I want to congratulate Jason Marion, who was sworn in as the new sergeant over at the police department today. And I would like to congratulate Rob Haynes. He was an operator at the water department for almost 30 years. I think he told me 29 years and 8 months. His official last day was Sunday the 31st, and he retired. So congratulate Rob on his retirement. And with that, I will answer any questions, but I will pass.
I have a question on code enforcement.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, code enforcement, what is general procedure? Should I as a citizen or I as a city council wish to report a residence? Where do I go? To planning and zoning?
Planning and zoning, yep.
Okay.
And then we have an iWork system that all that information can be put into, and work orders will be sent out to the code enforcement officer, and then they will
So start
Go
with
from there.
planning and zoning. Okay.
yes.
And estimated turnaround from the time a person makes an issue known. Are we saying months before something happens, or does it usually have a quick turnaround?
So it depends on the compliance, and
Okay.
I'll give you the attorney answer, depends.
It depends? Okay. Well, I guess I can't ask for any more than that. Okay.
We're going to try to move them through as quickly as possible. Some of them, if they get into, the courts, we're going to be at their mercy on timing,
That I
things like that.
One other question is repeat offenders. Because I can think of one place right now, I know they've been in the system of having asked to clean up their property, started, stopped, and I haven't seen any progress. So that's one of my concerns is like, is that part of the procedure that planning and zoning will address, is the overall complaint?
Yes, the overall complaint. So we already have ordinances on our books that for repeat offenders, it's like first offense, a fine up to this dollar amount, second offense, a fine up to this dollar amount. But again, all those fines are going to be based on court proceedings and how it flows through the courts.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I will appreciate the information.
Absolutely, anytime.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions for
Mr. President, Ryan, concerning like the change of the transit for the Eclipse Day?
Yes.
How does the public know that the transit is shut down for the day after that?
So we put it on Facebook, and then most of our ridership is repeat. So they get told. So they get told. We post it on the buses, and then I do want to add something that transit does a lot of is like for dialysis patients. So they've worked with the dialysis center, so they're going to do all the dialysis patients on Sunday because the hospital wants to close the dialysis center to make sure all those people get their needs met.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on to Law Director, Mr. Reedman.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just to kind of piggyback on what Mr. Dilk said, it was one of my priorities when I started was to kind of clean up our nuisance abatement, and so we've done a lot of stuff behind the scenes that perhaps you don't see in terms of tracking complaints and knowing where things are with our iWork software, and so we're kind of excited for the next step to be able to continue to move this forward. So I know everybody kind of, as soon as you call, you want to see something resolved. Unfortunately, it's not quite that simple, but give us time, we are making progress. So with that, I'll answer any questions anyone has.
All right, moving on to City Auditor, Ms. Davis.
Hi, thank you, Mr. President. I have been given a fund request, another fund request from the Butterflies Junior Garden Club, that they would request $300 from community funds in order to plant flowers. I believe that the flowers are like around the circle and stuff. Annual planting of the flowers at the Greenville girls softball field, containers to be seen by the visitors from all over Ohio. So I didn't know if you wanted another assignment for that, Mr. Smith, or you wanted, I was just given this today, so I wanted to bring it to you. We do have a balance left in the fund. Obviously, we left a balance there for a reason, so.
I mean, personally, I would move to approve it, but I don't know what the procedure would be without having a full meeting, so.
So typically we do, it comes out of the committee, and so the committee makes the
Yeah.
recommendation.
So we can just set another meeting
Got
for
it,
that.
okay. So I would like to request then for a meeting for that, if you would,
do
please. Okay?
And you want to have that back for the next
Next
meeting?
meeting.
Because I'm sure they're going to want to be planting these.
Yeah, it's probably more urgent than not, right?
Okay, so I'll sign a committee for the additional funding for the community fund back on the 16th.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. And a couple other things. The Auditor of State training was very informative, even for an old dog like me. So the mayor and I had a lot of good classes, and a lot of good information was passed along. With that, I'm going to pass along that all council members should be doing their sunshine law training. It can be done online. You can come up to the city building. We will set you up online. You do not have to go anywhere to do it. It just is a really good idea for everyone to have it this year, before the end of the year, okay? The other thing is the deadline. I'm going to remind everybody on their financial closure deadline, May 15th. So anybody that hasn't done that, let's get those May 15th to the deadline. And any other questions, I would be glad to answer. Other than that, I'll pass.
I better write that down.
May 15th.
Any questions for Ms. Davis?
I will add, Mr. President, that when you do your training, or if you have done your training, we would take the certificate for your file in our office as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, is that, Kim, excuse me, is that, well, we can log in like at our
Correct.
houses on our PCs like we've done in the past through the
Yes.
ethics?
Yeah, there's the Auditor of State website that we can send you the link to. Jessica had sent me the link to. I can forward that on to you, and you can do it at your leisure.
Yeah, very good,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, if you could send that on to all the council members. Absolutely. And then just a quick question, I know I'm not getting email right now because there's a new thing just set up. Is everyone getting email from the city?
Yes.
You're
Yeah,
not?
I had Jeff set mine up the other day.
Okay, so we just need to go in and see Jeff because mine's not set up. Are you good, Clarence?
I went and seen Jeff.
Okay. All right. All right, is that it for you, Ms. Davis?
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Moving on to committee reports, we have none. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions, we have 9, and the first one is a supplemental ordinance.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. This supplemental ordinance allows for appropriations in the general fund and CIP fund in the sum as follows. CIP transfer elected auditor and treasurer in the amount of $20,000. These funds are needed to complete the CIP fitness room project. Community events in the amount of $4,000 and Dark County economic development in the amount of $2,500. These funds are needed due to the increased line items for the general budget. General government CIP in the amount of $20,000. These funds are needed to complete the CIP fitness room project. A portion of these funds were provided for by donation.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024.
Move to adopt the ordinance?
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, next we have an ordinance establishing personnel within the city, and this does have an emergency clause.
An ordinance establishing personnel within the City of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency, amending and replacing the previous ordinance. This ordinance establishes 1 additional part-time dispatcher and 3 additional part-time drivers at the Transit Department. This ordinance has an emergency clause.
Move to suspend the rules and give this ordinance second and third reading by title only?
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
An ordinance establishing personnel within the City of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency, amending and replacing the previous ordinance. An ordinance establishing personnel within the City of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency, amending and replacing the previous ordinance.
Motion to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion?
Mr. President, this is just to add the.
This is it's on the emergency, the
sorry.
discussion part.
Sorry.
Any other discussion on emergency part? Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Move to adopt the ordinance?
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion.
Mr. President, this is the addition of more part-time people because some of our part-time people wanted to work less. Is that what this is? Correct. It's nothing more than that. Correct. Thank you.
I think the way it was before, they had to work so many hours or they couldn't work, and you had some farmers and other folks that, good employees, but seasonal.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, we have number 3, a ordinance establishing wages for various employees not covered by wage agreements, and this has emergency clause too.
An ordinance establishing wages and salaries for the various employees of the City of Greenville not covered by wage agreements and declaring an emergency. This ordinance establishes the wages for a part-time code enforcement position within the Planning and Zoning Department. This ordinance has an emergency clause.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second and third reading by title only?
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
An ordinance establishing wages and salaries for the various employees of the City of Greenville not covered by wage agreements and declaring an emergency. An ordinance establishing wages and salaries for the various employees of the City of Greenville not covered by wage agreements and declaring an emergency.
Motion to adopt the emergency clause.
Excuse me. Moved by Mr. Godwin to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion on the emergency clause? Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Move to adopt the ordinance?
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion?
Mr. President, is this more than just the more changes than just adding the enforcement position? It's just that?
Just the enforcement.
Everything else is the
the
same as
same.
what was in the budget, the same as what was in our normal structure?
Yep.
Thank you.
It's just all in one ordinance, right? Or
That's-
one-
Pass it together, so
you don't
have a bunch of
Well, yeah.
mismatched ordinances.
Got it. Any other questions, discussion? Call the roll.
White.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, next we have a resolution,
A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed personal property. This resolution authorizes the disposition of a no longer needed fire department hose washer on govdeals.com.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only.
been moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
White.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the disposition of a no longer needed personal property. A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed personal property.
Move to adopt the resolution?
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion?
Mr. President, question, just, is this disposal not needed or disposal replacement or what, how does that work?
Chief?
Okay, so this is retiring an old one and replacing it with a new one. Okay, thank you.
You'll notice there's a lot of these when you pass the final budget and we get the new equipment in, we kind of purge the old stuff.
Okay.
Any other
We won't do
discussion?
that to old council members, though.
Gee, thanks.
Was that in the form of a motion?
going kicking and screaming.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
White.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
All right, moving on to number 5, a resolution authorizing disposition of no longer needed street department equipment.
A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed street department equipment on GovDeals. This resolution authorizes the disposition of a no longer needed 2000 Chevy bucket truck on govdeals.com.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second, third time.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
White.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed street department equipment on GovDeals. A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed street department equipment on GovDeals.
Move to adopt the resolution?
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
White.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 6, another resolution authorizing disposition of no longer needed for the street department.
A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed street department equipment. This resolution authorizes the disposition of a no longer needed 2018 Freightliner vac truck, which will be sold to the Village of Versailles for $225,000.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only?
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
White.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed street department equipment. A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed street department equipment.
Move to adopt the resolution?
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt. Discussion.
Yes.
New one in.
No, it's due in here the next couple weeks.
What they gonna do without one then?
Oh, they're not getting it until we get the new one and get it trained,
All
yeah.
right. Just making sure.
I didn't hear what that conversation was.
He asked if we had the new one in yet, and we do not. It's supposed to be in here in the next couple weeks.
So this is another replacement with a new one?
Yes.
And what was the new purchase price that we had?
580,000, I believe.
So 6 years old, 1,300 miles, 1,000 hours, 1,300 hours, and about $350,000. Help me understand.
Yeah,
Help
absolutely.
me understand why you do that home.
Yeah. So one, it's a very specialized piece of equipment. It's a sewer vac truck, so it does hydro excavating, backing out of manholes, flushing storm, sanitary sewers. We use it more now for hydro excavation. Helps big time with hit water lines, gas lines, if you're backing around all those areas versus using a backhoe or an excavator to dig. This one, I think, when we bought it, it was around the $400,000 mark. The new one is larger, so it's larger capacity on the back truck side of things and on the pressure for the flusher portion of it that goes through. To give you an example, the last one we kept too long, and then when we went to try to sell it on Gov Deals, we struggled to sell it, and I think we ended up getting $20,000 out of it. So we felt that, so you still have some value there, and then it gave us a chance to upgrade to a larger model. And it's really based a lot on what we used it for 20 years ago or even 5 years ago and what the needs are now.
The needs have changed, is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So bigger, better, and you're not dealing with a piece of equipment that's 8 years old.
Under warranty.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, what's the saying on like boats, like bust out another 1,000, like, yeah, vac trucks are like bust out another 50,000 when you have to repair.
There's that sweet spot to get money for your trade too.
Right.
Yes.
If you wait too long, you're not gonna get anything.
And then the other news, you've already approved the purchase for the new one, so the new one's coming regardless of whether we sell this one or not.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Any other questions on this back truck?
That's the freedom of speech.
Call roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 7, a resolution authorizing disposition of no longer needed water department equipment.
A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed water department equipment on Gov Deals. This resolution authorizes the disposition of a no longer needed 2007 GMC Canyon truck on govdeals.com.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed water department equipment on Gov Deals. A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed water department equipment on Gov Deals.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Moving on to number 8, a resolution to approve a contract for leaf, limb, and brush disposal.
A resolution to approve a contract for leaf, limb, and brush disposal. This resolution approves a contract with Fitzwater Tree and Lawn Care for the disposal of leaf, limbs, and brush from April 3rd to October 11th, 2024.
Move to suspend the rules and give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Down there.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules and give this second, third reading by title only.
Thought it was in stereos.
Discussion. Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution to approve a contract for leaf, limb, and brush disposal. A resolution to approve a contract for leaf, limb, and brush disposal.
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to adopt this resolution. Discussion.
Mr. President,
Yes.
is this the same provider we had in the past?
Yes.
And who all was quoted this time around?
No one was quoted. It's a contract for $2,500 in the past, and this is just to dispose of it. In the past, the cost was substantially higher, and so we don't requote it. There's not really a lot of places you can take them as far as limbs and leaves go.
Yeah.
And they are a composting facility, so there's a special license you have to do. I think the next closest one right now is in Piqua. So for the hauling side of things, it just makes sense to take it out to
But it's a
Fitzwater.
total expense of $2,500.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So on government, anything over 25,000 has to be bid?
75,000 now.
75,000, okay.
Yeah, it didn't say what the amount was.
Yeah, all good.
Any other discussion on that? Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, and moving on to our last one, resolution authorizing the filing applications of 2024 Community Parks Improvement Grant.
A resolution authorizing the filing of applications for the 2024 Community Parks Improvement Grant Program. This resolution authorizes the filing of applications to the Dark County Park District for the 2024 Community Parks Improvement Grant Program.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second and third time.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, to give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the filing of applications for the 2024 Community Parks Improvement Grant Program. A resolution authorizing the filing of applications for the 2024 Community Parks Improvement Grant Program.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt. Discussion. Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Moving on, under new business, we have an annual joint meeting that needs to be set. Is that correct? When does that need to be set by?
Amazing.
May 7th meeting? All right, we will set that meeting, and that will be for 7 o'clock. So it'll be a half hour before our council meeting. Is everybody good with that?
That'll be
So
understood.
this is a joint meeting we have to have once a year for the election of the township, Union Township Cemetery Board.
Okay.
Am I saying that right? Yep,
And I think this time it will be another council person.
correct.
Yeah.
And it'd be for the election of of 2025. So, but we have to have it before May meeting. Okay. Any other questions on that?
There's a date on that, John, please.
May the 7th,
May 7th.
May 7th.
Yep.
7 p.m.
Under old business, we have nothing. Council representing outside is the CIC, which is Brian Brown, so Brian's not here. We'll put that on next meeting. Communications.
We received the CIC minutes from January 24th, 2024, the annual CIC minutes from January 24th, 2024, the monthly reports of March from the Income Tax Department and the Street Department, and then we have a letter from the police chief. To Greenville City Council, I have reviewed the letter sent by the Department of Commerce Division of Liquor Control on objections to the renewal of retail liquor permits in the city of Greenville. I do not have reason to object to the renewal of any liquor permits in the city. Sincerely, Chief Roberts.
You need a motion to accept that.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for me.
So I'll entertain a motion to accept the police chief's report.
So moved.
Any discussion on that? So the motion would be not to have a hearing.
Yes.
Call the roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Abstain.
We have enough to pass, right? Yep, okay. Is that it under communications? All right, call council.
White,
I guess I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight and putting up with my questions. I look at things a little differently than maybe some people in the past, and looking at where we're headed with our future. And I know everybody looks at it from a different set of eyes. I'm concerned with our overall spending as we continue to have less population. And I'm not sure how we throttle things back and when we have to throttle things back. That's probably a different discussion for a different time. But that's a concern as I sit here on the council now. So understand why I asked some of the questions I asked. That'll maybe help a little bit. But I'm open to any one-on-one discussions over my thoughts and views. Thank you.
Ely,
I will pass this evening.
Godwin,
Pass.
Norris,
I'll pass.
Rogers,
Pass.
Schmidt,
Pass.
President Baumgartner.
She's not very talkative.
Not a very talkative day tonight.
So, just a couple thoughts. So, wish April Brubaker the best. I thought she was one of the better downtown directors we had in a while. So, April, you're going to be missed. Hopefully, we can find. I know they've got 7 or 8 great applicants. So, hopefully, we can get it as good as April. And then, as far as Mr. White, your questions. A lot of times, I'll ask questions I know the answer, but I want the public to know. So, I appreciate some of those questions, because I think there's probably people watching thinking, why are we buying a new one, or why are we doing this? So keep asking those questions.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Move up Mr. Rogers to adjourn. Call roll.
White,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris, Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Evening, everyone.